Our breath is flowing. Taking a moment to connect with our intention for today. Today, we're thinking about especially the sacral and the hip area. So the sacral chakra is the area that governs that spot of the body. And sometimes maybe a helpful analogy for what we do to the sacral chakra is treat it like our junk drawer, where it's like when you don't know what to do with something, you just stick it in the junk drawer because there's not really another spot to organize it. So emotionally, oftentimes we don't know what to do with some of the feelings that are going on in our body. So we kind of just shove it in our junk drawer, and that the hip and sacral area, those tend to be spots that take our emotions when we don't want to process them. They will hold on to them quite a bit. So our idea as we're opening up our hips today is to especially be open to feelings. Whatever you feel, give it time, give it patience, give it attention, because kind of like in physics, energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can be transformed. So by giving it the attention that it needs now, when maybe we previously weren't able to, we can kind of imagine that, it's getting us to that spot where the energy of that emotion can transform to maybe a new spot, a new thing. And in the process, in the journey, we learn quite a bit. We learn the lesson we were meant to learn from that feeling. That transformation, that being with our body, being with our emotions, being with whatever comes up today, that's what will lead us on. So to kick us off, let's begin. We'll start to take the knees into the chest. Especially pay attention to the hips as you're rocking around, maybe doing circles. Help those hips to have a little bit of attention, a little bit of circulation going directly to it. So first things first today, let's slide the left leg long to the ground, and we'll kick this right leg up to sky. A moment to be with this hamstring. Take a couple of good breaths. Those muscles a little bit more willing to move for us. Let's take right ankle to left side. You're gonna set up a good hug. So with hands wrapped around, try to invite the leg in. Sometimes by about this point, maybe there's an additional millimeter or two that's willing to stretch. So maybe try to pull it just a hair deeper. Good. So let's add a little bit of movement to the hips. What we're going to do is leave the legs in this unit, this right ankle to left, the right thigh shape. Take both hands to clasp behind the back of the head, and then we're going to start crunching the upper body to the lower body. From here, as head lowers down, legs extend out, keeping that right ankle up, and then crunch back in. Let's go for another 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left foot on the ground, still keep the right ankle up. Keep the left hand behind the back of the head, right arm opens out to the side. And we're going to do some nice crunches, including obliques. So take that left elbow front, that right thigh, and back down. Taking another 9, 8, 7, Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Giving all of that a little break. Release the cross. And then take both knees to a nice twist over to the left. Our upper body spreading open. Try to keep both shoulders in contact with the ground. So how our deep breaths feel that amazing sensation after we've done all that work we just completed. And you can either stay here, just a simple twist, or we'll start to head deeper toward cat chasing its tail. So if you're doing that one, the top leg starts to stretch out to the side. And then this left arm slides up the back side of the leg, however high, maybe to thigh, calf, or toes. And if you want the right hand to be included in the stretch, that free right hand goes to the free left toes behind your back. And then that should help that bottom knee to trace its way toward the base of the mat. A good quad stretch going on the bottom leg. I'll give this whole stretch or any part of it that you're staying in a couple of more breaths. Good. So as our hands start to release, take both knees to stack. We're still rolling over to that left side body. Maybe our head goes in that bottom hand. Just a little bit of support. To help strengthen this hip area, we're going to let the top knee lift up. It's almost like a clamshell. It's just the knee rotates up. And then imagine you've got resistance. You're going through molasses. You're squeezing the thigh back down. Let's repeat another 9. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. As it rests down, take your top hand, that right hand, grab your right foot behind your back, and then pull the knee backwards until you feel a good quad stretch going on. As we return our back onto the ground, you'll kind of swivel the grip around so that that right foot is still grabbing right hand, but now it's a happy baby pose. Pulling that knee super wide. You can choose to stay with stillness. You could have rocking. You could even have straightening and bending of the knee. It's whatever you like, whatever feels really helpful. Okay, so we're ready to release. We're going to take the right leg all the way to the ground, left leg up to the sky, the first big stretch for that side. Take the left ankle to the right thigh. Set up that first good hug. I love this initial sequence that we're taking because it helps us kind of ease into all sorts of muscle groups surrounding the entirety of the hips. So leave the legs in this unit. Let's take hands behind the back of the head. Crunch the upper body up. And then send the legs out. 10. And in. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Right foot to the ground. Keep the right hand behind the head. We're twisting that right elbow toward that left thigh. And we're down. 9. 8. 7. 'Maybe top leg straightens out to the side, letting that right hand slide up the back side of the leg. Maybe left hand to those free toes, taking the quadricep stretch also. You don't have to do all of them if you don't want to. Okay, as we release, get the knees to stack. Continue to roll over onto right side body. Maybe the head is supported by the hand. And like that clamshell, the top knee comes up and squeeze it down. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Left hand grabs left foot behind our back. Pull the knee backwards a little bit until you feel the quad stretch. Turning onto our back, flip the grip into half happy baby, left hand to left foot. Just a couple more breaths, maybe motion, maybe stillness. Good, and as we release, we come up to a seated place, maybe rolling like a ball a few times, or maybe just come directly up and into cobbler. Your choice. Continue to tilt forward to a great degree that feels helpful. Lifting up a little bit. Let's open out the legs. Let's see how much the legs want to continue to stretch open as our hands find the floor, walking forward. That tremendous stretch going on right here, for sure. I feel it too. Tight today. Okay, so walking our way up. Let the left foot just have an easy kind of planted position in front of you. We're going to cradle out the right foot. You can grab on with hands or go deeper toward the elbows. The big thing is spine up as straight as possible and toes up as high as possible. And rock the hip up. Once again, we'll take this right ankle to left thigh. And then our goal is to be in a hip stretch. So maybe this is quite different than when you were laying on your back. But you've got some options. You could either take right hand to push that right knee open. You could scoot the bottom toes closer. You could even set up a deep hug around it. It all just depends on what your body will do, what feels helpful. That's okay. We start to release. Right hand grabs the right foot. Swing it wide, that half happy baby again. And kick it up high. Let's repeat that 2 more. And 1 more time. Good. Hold it nice and long up high for an extra moment. You can stay facing forward, or you can take a twist. Left hand grabs the foot tries to cross over for the left top of the mat, and then the right arm opens out to a nice twist back. Good. Release this right leg to the floor, easy relaxation, and cradle out the other. A few good rocks. Setting it down, choose your option, maybe push that left knee open, maybe scoot the foot in, maybe do the full wrap, whatever's working. Left hand grabs the outside of left foot, pull the knee open, and kick up. Let's repeat that. 4, or sorry, just 3 total, so just 1 more. Good, on this last one, stay lifted, pausing here for a good breath or 2. And either stay or switch grip, opening up to the twist. Good. Return. Just take an easy cross leg, front the right hand to the right, left hand up to the sky, reach over. Rising up, travel over. Good, coming up. So one of the ways I like to dive deep into some of the emotions that want to come up is through breath. And so we'll do a couple of rounds of alternate nostril breathing. For me, once I get the pattern of this, it helps me go really deep down, kind of feel things that maybe I wouldn't have felt if I wasn't just relaxing into it. So on your right hand, tuck down the pointer finger and the middle finger. And then you'll alternate between blocking off the nostril with the thumb and with the ring finger, going back and forth. So first, just take a normal breath without anything. Plug off right nostril with thumb, inhale left. Switch the grip, exhale right. Inhale right. Switch to exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Switch to exhale left. Inhale left. Switch to exhale right. Inhale right. Switch to exhale left. Dropping the hand down, take 2 breaths just to feel whatever's going on. And as we come to hands and knees, let's see if by movement of the spine, we can kind of help to transform some of that energy. So from cat-cow, we're rounding up and down. Just rock with your breath. As I think of the different feelings that we can have as different preschool children, it's like if you always treat one of the children badly because you don't really want to be around that emotion, like that poor child, like they would have such a bad life. They would, like, you're constantly locking them up in the closet. And so today it's like that invitation to be with that child when it needs the attention, rather than just always locking it away. And then that way it's able to mature and grow up and become its full embodiment of what that emotion is supposed to bring to us on the spectrum. So take another good inhale. And exhale. Then up to neutral spine. Our right knee is going to open up to the side. We're going to take 3 large circles, the largest we can. Choose your first direction. Take 3, 2, 1, and reverse it. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. So from here, try to see if left hand can grab the right foot behind your back. If you get that clasp, kind of push up into a gentle back bend. And as we release the hand down, the right foot opens out to the floor on the right. Also today, let it scoot open as far away as it can before you drop down to elbows. So, tremendous inner thigh stretch. Up onto hands, and then use our core to squeeze it back in. Once it's back in, let's go ahead and drop that side down. Let's take a plank or kneeling plank, lowering belly to the earth. Take hands out in front of you to stack, so it's almost like an alligator pose, but then that right knee we were just working on, take it into tree pose. So maybe the foot is to the knee, maybe it's to the thigh. Let the forehead rest down or tilt to the side, whatever's more comfortable. So the goal of this is just to feel when I'm in tree pose, how open should my hip be? So that deep rotation that happens in the hip when we're trying to open up to this plane. So from here, right arm either kind of hooks around the thigh to let you straighten that leg out to the side, or you grab onto the foot to help it straighten out to the side. And then from here, notice how much that right hip had to lift to let you open up to that angle. That helps us realize when I'm standing, that's how much my foot has to be in front of the flat plane in order for my hips to essentially be flat with the rest of my back. It's really helpful opening up that hip for a moment. Let's take one more inhale. And exhale, send this leg back. Plant the hands underneath us, either take Sphinx or Cobra. Nice back bend. And head back a couple of breaths with child pose. Okay, back up onto hands and knees. The left knee starts to open out to the left. Let's take 3 tremendous big circles. So 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, we're taking the right hand to the foot behind our back. If you find a clasp, try to lift it up. Little back bend. Hand down, foot out to the left. Also slide it super far open. Dropping to elbows. On the hands, then use the core to squeeze the leg back in. Once we're there, take it to plank or kneeling plank, lower belly to the earth. Same arm position in front of us. Take the tree pose with left thigh rotating open. Maybe left arm hooks around the thigh or left arm grabs the foot, trying to let the leg straighten out to the side. Notice how much that left hip had to lift. Sending the leg back, Cobra or Sphinx. Child pose. Go up to downward facing dog whenever you feel ready, adding some extra movement to the legs. And this will be one of those down dogs. You can stay as long as it's still helpful. At some point, we'll all make it up to the top. Some of us will go sooner, some of us later. Not a competition. Take another inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise. And hands to heart. Shifting our weight into left foot, let this right thigh rotate open into tree. Foot can be higher, it can be lower, but really pay attention to that rotation open, kind of like as if we were laying face down on the floor like we were. Maybe hands at heart. Maybe if the balance is there, arms grow. Don't feel like you have to. release the foot from thigh, knee goes forward and kicks back, warrior 3. We're landing back, warrior 1. Hands clasped behind our back, pull forward into a shoulder stretch. Drop to the inside of the front foot, lizard. Up in the front of those back toes, you can either stay here, you could drop the knee down, you could drop an elbow or both down. Today, you even have an additional option for that hip. You could drop your weight all the way down onto right hip, and let this left arm spiral open behind you. Just help that hip do whatever feels useful, whatever feels like it's aiding you to get deep. Return the torso forward, and back up onto hands. Lifting up that back knee. And then we're stepping the right foot up toward that right corner of the mat, Balasana. Elbow down into the squat. Hands down, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. Next, inhale to rise up. Hands to heart. Take your right foot underneath your body. Tree pose, left rotating over. Nothing else, get that thigh to be super wide. And free up the foot, kick back, warrior 3. Warrior 1. And clasp behind the back, pull forward, shoulder stretch. And drop to inside of front foot. You can hop up on the back toes, take any variation of lizard, maybe back knee lifted, maybe lowered, maybe down to elbows. If you wanted to do the rotation, you could drop down to the left hip and then let right arm rotate open behind. It's all up to you, whatever works for this hip. Start to return forward. Come up onto hands. Lift up the back knee if it lowered. Stepping forward, Balasana squat. Dropping hands down, straighten the legs, turn toes forward. Next, inhale to rise. Let's pull the feet right underneath the hips. If tree pose is enough challenge, you can just stick with tree pose for this one. Otherwise, maybe take the right ankle to the left thigh. Bending the standing leg, try to melt the elbows down for that right leg. If you touch down to the elbows, try to flatten the torso even more flush to the thigh. As close to the end as open with that hip as possible. Again, staying with tree is fine for this next section. Otherwise, if you're pretty low, see if your right hand can grab your right foot. As you rise up, try to kick that right leg open to the right. Good. Release it through warrior 3. Land just the toes at the back. Either take a twist by hooking the right wrist, rotating open, or slide down to elbow. This would be twisting. And when we unwind, let the arms float up to the sky. We're trying to drop the hips as low as possible, reaching the arms up. This will create a little bit of extra space through the front of the right hip. Another good inhale. And then exhale, hands go to the floor, standing split. Try to float right leg as high as possible. Funky transition. We're trying to take the right knee to the outside of left foot as we come down to the floor. Good. So now right hand or right elbow hooks around the knee. That's a twist. As we return forward, we're going to keep this bottom leg, that right one, on the ground. The left one unwinds all the way back behind us into pigeon. So make sure to pick your hips up, your back floating up, sacrum level. And then if it feels nice, you can lower down sleeping pigeon. Any variations are welcome if you like. Especially give time and breath to these hips. Sometimes the emotions that we store are really joyful things. Pleasant recent memories that have happened, you smile about it every time you think about it. And oftentimes it's those repressed things that we don't know what to do with in that moment. So we just kind of push it and hide it away. But whatever's coming up, even if you don't even have a memory attached to it, it's just a feeling. Breathe and be with it. It's like, what if every emotion in the entire spectrum, what if the point of life was to give each and every emotion or color on the spectrum at least a couple of minutes of our life? It's like, how often have we just pushed certain emotions down? Like, oh, shame comes out? Oh, I don't like that one. Let's not do that one. One more tremendous inhale. Nice exhale. So we'll head to a recovery pose. So this might be different for everybody. You could go to kneeling, you could go to child pose. Some might even take a full flow. Ease around with the down dog, so it's up to you. Whatever's gonna kind of help you bring space to that hip that we just stretched. Sooner or later, let's make our way up to the top of the mat, a nice forward fold. Taking a good inhale, exhale, inhale, rise, hands to heart. Okay, let's play with our second side. Starting to stand onto our right leg. Your other leg could be the tree, or maybe ankle to thigh. If you've got ankle to thigh, maybe you melt the elbows down, or even try to get the torso flush with the thigh. If you're in tree, you can just stay. If you made your way super low, maybe left hand tries to grab left foot. Rising up, kick that left leg open out to the left. Good, release, kick that through warrior three. And just the toes. Hook the left wrist, spiral open, or slide down to the left. Let's do that. It's okay. A wider stance is easier, so just step it like super wide toward the outer. Yep, just like that. That'll help. That's okay. It takes time. Good. So as we unwind, reach the arms up to sky. Try to drop the hips lower. In the front of that psoas. Good inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Take that left leg back up high, standing split. Maybe hands walk closer. Sometimes I can get hands around the ankle, calf area. Nice inhale. And then exhale, left knee to the outside of right foot for sit. Good. Left hand or left elbow hooks. Take the twist. Turning forward, keep the left leg on the floor, right leg swings all the way around, and then pick up your hips. Do a little back bend if you like, or just go straight down to that sleeping pigeon. Be more with your body rather than just kind of letting it walk you where you need to go. What is the experience of your body right now? Really start to ease out of this. We can turn toward a long edge of our mat and take a frog pose. Getting the knees as wide as they'll go. Keep the shins straight back. And then make sure your hips stay over the highest part rather than going forward or backward. Going down to elbows. Giving our hips a chance to go super wide. And then we're going to do more of an internal hip bake. So I'm bringing these last couple of bits of balance to our hips. This wide external. This one's pretty intense. Try to be with the body still. Take about 3 more breaths. As we start to drop down onto the pelvis, let's open up the mat and face our way back to be on the belly, facing forward. With elbows underneath us, take your right hand into your right foot behind, pull it in. And switch it out to left. Release. Take a moment with a child pose. Maybe narrow knees, maybe wide. And coming down to sit. Depending on how open our hips are, you can either set up right leg crossed in front, right leg shin stack on top, or right leg knee stack. Just however narrow your hips will allow, with both being able to be down. As we find the floor and start to ease forward, imagine this internal motion right in those hips. It's like opening up a door. Let's like look in the door, see which of those preschooler emotions need some attention right now. What have we been holding back on, kind of shoving to the side? Just be with that little toddler. And starting to rise our way up, we'll switch our legs out, giving some space for the other. However deep it's willing to cross over, then find the floor, ease into it. Is it that same toddler that's there on the other side of the door this time, or is it someone else? Whatever it is, feel it, breathe with it, integrate it. We're ready to rise out. There's last stretches we need to take before Shavasana. Take it. This is our journey back to that direction. Any last things are welcome, or if at any point you're ready to just drop down, relax, that's okay too. Here we'll begin to deepen our inhales and our exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching it out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Usually taking a nice fetal position off to one side. Maybe enjoying 2 or 3 good deep breaths. Rising up when you are ready. With our hands in front of our heart, we think of all these emotions that we experience as a human. And we think of all these little toddlers, these little preschoolers who would mature. We gave them the time and the attention that they wanted. And we think of how much less energy it would take from us for those emotions to be matured rather than like a toddler. And we also think of how passionate we could be, how much difference we could make for the world by us connecting to what really matters, what needs to be changed, by us feeling those hard things sometimes. So with all of this to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.